another question I get a lot is how long has Share been in operation? So how long has Share been in operation?
Yeah, since like 2021, roughly. I mean, conceptually, we've been thinking about it for quite some time. 2020, experimented a few things, but I would say 2021 is probably official
Right.
when we got together and started.
But your CFO, Carmen, CPA on both sides of the border, Canadian, but she lives in Tampa Bay mostly. She's essentially acted as an asset manager for her clients for decades.
Yeah, she got in like the '08, like from the beginning.
Right.
So yeah, she's been doing this for quite some time. She's the one that introduced me to it, introduced the philosophies of tying and investing in terms of cash flow and
Right.
wealth, and then said, hey, this is the asset class to do it with. So yeah, she's been in it for quite a long time.
Which is fascinating because you don't normally hear about accountants, financial planners recommending real estate, direct ownership of real estate as investments, because generally you don't get paid off of that.
Yeah, and like to that point, I think that may be a Canadian statement because like so to give you the context, I met Carmen while I was living in the U.S. And needed an accountant that understood the Canadian and U.S. system for Canadians or Canadians living in the U.S. And she became our tax or an accountant for my business that was based in California. And then I asked her to do my personal stuff because I didn't know how to do this cross-border stuff. And so she got a glimpse of my whole portfolio, which was not that big, but I had a couple of Ontario properties, and that's the conversation that opened up
Right.
U.S. rental homes.
Yeah, because your investing here sucked. It wasn't
I
making
wouldn't
you
say
money.
yeah, like I think I made money. It didn't feel like I was making money because I was so highly involved, and it was just a lot of capital up front.
And this is what year was this?
This was 2010ish. So like,
Right, so
mind
stuff
you,
is cheap compared to now.
Yeah, but back then it did not feel cheap, and like to save that much money as like someone in their 20s was pretty tough.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, and Carmen has other clients like you. And she was recommending this to. I imagine she was recommending American investments to pretty much all of her clients.
Yeah, I've got in the dozens for sure. So like prior when I met her, the reason why she could sell this so easily is because she used to go on like to sell these types of homes and then bundle it with sort of the tax consulting side of things.
Right.
Yeah.
And so did she start advising clients to buy U.S. income properties back in like starting from like '08?
I don't know if it
that?
started back then, but I believe it was like her foray was that, and then like she had gotten in, and then she realized, and she devised a system, and, along with her real estate counterparts, then started going into that world.
Because that's essentially the beginning of Share.
Yeah.
It just wasn't called that.
Yeah, it just wasn't called that. So she was doing, let's call it the manual localized version, local version of Share, and that's what we actually want to kind of open up the country and centralize it to a meaning of like giving access, unbiased access to different regions, and doing it all online.
Right, because correct me if I'm wrong, the back in '08 it started with just Florida.
Yes.
And then an eventual expansion to New York.
Yeah. So like, and expansion we'll use loosely because it was just because her real estate counterpart had personal like business in New York and Florida.
Yeah.
So it was turnkey because he owned the whole operation from top to bottom.
Right.
But would we say that you should only invest in Florida or you should only invest in New York? No, right? But we did it because that's typically how it worked. You worked with your agent who has their own network and worked within their network. And now we're saying Share, now that we have access to data and technology, we should open it up and then pick based on client preference.
Right. Because when people ask me like how long Share been around, like, well, they've been operating like this, not under the banner of Share for a long time.
Yeah.
And Carmen has lots of successful clients who cash flow significantly in US dollars, including Canadian clients.
Yeah.
And in my experience, there's not many people in Canada who cash flow significantly from their portfolio, which is what led me down the path, like I need to learn more. Right? Like your own story of 19 properties, is it?
20.
20? need to check your slide. I was looking over your slides. I think I counted 19. You might have locked one off somewhere, but you haven't even seen them. So yeah, you can't name all the addresses, can you?
Oh no, I can't. I can name cities. That's it. Yeah.
So you couldn't even find them if you wanted to.
No.
My point is, you have no idea what these properties are that you own.
No, I don't. Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. And how much do you cash flow a month?
Over 10.
$10 a month?
10,000.
I'm joking because I know Andrew doesn't like to talk about his personal stuff. You cash flow over 10,000 American dollars a month.